What do you need the police for?
My friend is, he's here and I need emergency right now.
Okay, what is going on that you need the police? What is happening?
I don't know.
Welcome back, and thanks for being here. 3 young adults who had been drinking in excess entered a tiny studio apartment early one morning. A little over an hour later, one of them would end up brutally murdered, and the other 2 claimed they had no idea what happened. Mark Edward Waugh was born on June 26, 1990, in Washington, D.C., to his parents William and Nancy Waugh. He also had 3 brothers. Mark was witty, intelligent, and compassionate, and he was known for his shenanigans. Mark also loved football, bacon, card games, and wrestling with his brothers. Even though he was born in Washington, D.C., he later moved to Great Falls, Virginia, where he attended Langley High School and graduated in 2008. Mark was also an Eagle Scout, and he was on the debate team, even competing in national competitions. At the time of this story, October 2013, Mark was a first-year law student at Georgetown University. On the night of October 12, 2013, Mark met up with his friends, Josh White and Rahul Gupta, along with Rahul's girlfriend, Taylor Gould. They had met in Washington, D.C. at DuPont Circle that night to celebrate Rahul's 24th birthday. Rahul was a biomedical engineering student, and he was attending Georgetown University. He was also dating Taylor Gould, who was a researcher for the FDA. Mark and Rahul had actually been friends since high school, as they had both attended Langley High together. So that night, after the group left their first bar, they decided to continue drinking and went to another bar. Here, Josh and Rahul would go outside to smoke some marijuana, while Taylor and Mark stayed inside. It was then that Taylor told Mark that Josh had been flirting with her that night, and it was making her rather uncomfortable. Josh, on the other hand, was outside telling Rahul that Taylor was the one that was flirting with him. This upset Rahul, and he didn't want to believe Josh. A little while later, the group moved on to a third bar. Here, Mark confronted Rahul and told him that Josh was trying to make a move on Taylor. Josh denied the accusation, and he ended up leaving and going back home to his apartment. The other 3 young adults decided to catch a taxi and head back to Rahul and Taylor's apartment that was located in Silver Spring. They would arrive back to the building around 1:50 in the morning, and Taylor said that Mark had come with them so he could be a witness as to what had happened between her and Josh at the bar, and to help her tell Rahul what had really happened. When the trio got into the apartment building, security cameras captured them getting into the elevator and heading up to Taylor and Rahul's 16th floor apartment. In the video, you can see Mark goofing around, and everyone seems to be having a good time. No one was angry. But that would soon change. Once back in the apartment, all 3 would take some shots of vodka, and Rahul would continue smoking marijuana. They then played some video games and sat on the couch talking. However, shortly after, the conversation turned to who had been flirting with who at the bar that night. Neither Taylor or Rahul recalled what happened next. But Taylor was making a phone call to 911 at 3:25 in the morning on October 13th, 2013. She told the 911 operator that her friend was there and there was an emergency. But her answers were extremely vague and rather bizarre.
Montgomery County 911. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police.
What do you need the police for?
My friend is, he's here and I need emergency right now.
Okay, what is going on that you need the police? What is happening?
I don't know.
Taylor, why did you call 911? What's going on?
Nothing.
Who else is in the house with you right now?
It's just me.
No, there's males in the house too. Who are they?
My friend, hold on. I don't know.
Taylor, hello. Can somebody come back to the phone, please?
Stop.
Please, off of me. Don't touch me.
I didn't do anything wrong.
No.
I didn't do anything wrong, okay? Stop.
Taylor.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I need you to talk to me because I don't know what's going on, and all I hear is people saying to get off of me.
Okay, we need to know what assistance you need. What is happening with your friend?
He's not breathing, okay? I don't know.
Taylor, hello. Can somebody come back to the phone, please? Hello?
Stop.
Hello, Taylor?
Has anyone been drinking or using any drugs tonight?
Yeah,
Okay, who has? Everybody?
yeah.
What have you been drinking?
Just alcohol.
Okay, what kind of alcohol has everybody been drinking?
Just alcohol. I don't know. I
I'm
need
just
someone
asking
here
because,
tonight, right now.
ma'am, they're coming right now, but the way that you've been answering questions, something's not right. You need to tell me
I'm sorry.
what is happening.
I don't know. I just need someone here. There's blood
Okay,
everywhere.
what do you mean there's blood everywhere? What happened?
I don't know.
How do you not know? You see what's going on. We don't. You need to tell us and paint the picture of what's happening right now.
I don't know. I just need someone here. I'm scared. I just want someone here.
Neighbors would also later report hearing loud noises coming from the apartment around 3 a.m., like someone was moving furniture around. Police officers arrived on the scene quickly, and even though they could hear yelling and movements going on inside the apartment, no one came to the door at first. Finally, a very intoxicated Taylor would open the door, and she had blood all over her. She said to police, "I don't know what happened. Can you tell me?" She was then placed in handcuffs and detained outside of the apartment. And when police officers entered the small 500-square-foot studio, they found blood everywhere. Raul and Mark were lying next to one another, surrounded and covered in blood. Police, however, quickly realized that Raul was still alive. Mark Waugh, however, had suffered a much different fate. He was dead and had been stabbed 11 times. Raul was also covered in blood, but police found that he had no serious wounds. And he, also like Taylor, claimed he had no idea what had happened. Raul was also still highly intoxicated, and at one point he would say to officers, "They were cheating. My girlfriend was cheating on me. I walked in on my buddy and girlfriend cheating, and I killed my buddy." He would, however, retract this statement and say that he was just drunk and trying to protect his girlfriend Taylor. So Mark had suffered 11 stab wounds. 5 of them looked to be defensive wounds. And the coroner would say that Mark had not died immediately. In fact, he could have lived for several minutes after being stabbed before he died from blood loss. And the murder weapon, which was a kitchen knife, was found underneath Mark's leg. A fingerprint and palm print were also found in Mark's blood, and these were believed to belong to Raul. Police detained both Taylor and Raul and brought them down to the station for questioning. Both of them said they could never imagine doing this to Mark. So Taylor was interrogated first, and she was still sticking with her story that she had drank so much that night, she had no idea what had happened. The thing is, she had remembered everything, pretty much until the point that they arrived back at the apartment. Detectives also noticed that the clothing Taylor was wearing during her interrogation was not the same clothing that she had been wearing when police officers had arrived at the apartment earlier that night. She had also been wearing a third outfit during the group's night out. She had been wearing a red dress that was found in the apartment with bloodstains all over it.
Honestly, I just wish I knew what happened. So I'm kind of hoping you can, will you be able to or no?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that you'll be able to fill me in with what happened, actually.
Okay.
Because clearly something happened.
Yeah.
And I know that you're remembering like something with video games, and then the next thing you know, Rahul is telling you to call the police or whatever. But there's a big gap of time in between there where something happened. Okay, and I believe that you know what happened, and that's something that that you need to tell me about. Okay.
Yeah, but we were drinking.
I understand that you were drinking. Okay, I understand that.
Okay.
But Mark is dead.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God. What happened?
So that's what we're trying to find out.
How did he die?
I don't know.
You don't?
I don't know yet. Well, there's a lot of blood.
I thought he was okay.
Right. Well, I'm sure that you would like to think he was okay, but you're a smart girl, so I'm sure that it was pretty clear at your apartment when he's not moving.
No.
And there's all this blood.
We were drinking. I don't remember. All I remember is Raul telling me to call 911.
Right. Like, why would Rahul get so upset that he would do something to Mark?
I don't think he would. That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
Were you in bed with Mark at all
not.
during the night?
No.
Did you have sex with Mark? Anything happened
No.
with Mark during the last night?
No.
That would have made Rahul angry?
No. No.
I mean, obviously I'm going to talk to Rahul and find out.
Yeah.
Like, what happened, or what he says. I mean, what is he going to tell me?
I don't know, but I know that didn't happen.
Additionally, long strands of blonde hair were found on the murder weapon, in Mark's hand, and stuck to blood on the wall. The only person who had been there that night that had long blonde hair was Taylor. Prosecutors, however, would later argue that the apartment was dirty, and Taylor lived there, so likely her hair was everywhere. However, investigators believed that it was too coincidental that 3 of her hairs had ended up in Mark's blood. And there was another curious discovery underneath Mark's body. When he had been rolled over, still stuck to the back of his jeans, was a perfectly unharmed, soft contact lens that matched Taylor's prescription. Additionally, when police had taken photos of the crime scene, they noticed that Taylor's shoes and car keys were sitting on top of blood, like she had taken them out with the plans of leaving the apartment for some reason. Also, in police photos, you can see that Taylor had a large red mark on the side of her hand, which could be the result of someone using a stabbing motion with a knife multiple times. But Taylor was remaining firm, saying that she remembered nothing because she had blacked out.
The blood on your hands and your feet, do you have any idea where that came from?
I assume from Mark.
When the police got to your house, you weren't wearing this. Because they have pictures of you. You had a white t-shirt on and pink underwear.
I'm kind of surprised I wore that in front of Mark.
You had the wherewithal to change your clothes, yet you can't remember how you got the blood on you.
So police decided to put both Raul and Taylor into the same interrogation room and see if they said anything incriminating.
Okay.
Yeah. I need Mark. I did not stab him.
I don't think I did either.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm freaking out, okay? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what happened.
Go out there and tell him that I want my lawyer. If I don't get a lawyer, then I'm going to sue. Go out there and tell him that.
Is that you? No.
Not right now.
Unfortunately, this proved to be unsuccessful. Police also examined Mark's cell phone, and they found a few odd text messages that he had sent to his brother prior to him being killed, and it revealed some serious tension in the apartment. At 2:01, he had texted saying, "My night is becoming historically awkward." At 2:19, Mark had texted saying, "I'm about to gnaw my hand off so I can leave in an ambulance." And finally, at 2:55, he typed, "Awake? ? I need help." Police believe that he was in the bathroom when he was sending these text messages. When it was Raul's turn to be interrogated by police, they asked him why he had been covered in blood, and he told them that it was because he had been performing CPR on his friend Mark, but he had no idea how he had gotten stabbed. He claimed that Taylor had to have been the one that stabbed Mark, because if he had done it, he definitely would have remembered.
We're going to have to talk to Tay.
Of course.
So I'm just going to talk to her and try to figure out what else, because because it's not exactly what she told me, you know. I mean, she'd tell me that she did, when like I talked to her already briefly, and she certainly wasn't indicating that there was any
friction, anything
between her and Mark or anything. She said it was Josh.
Well, I mean, it's totally possible that nothing was going on between them. But I know for a fact that I did not stab Mark.
Okay.
I mean, you know, if I did that, I would know.
Actually, you're saying you don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened between Tay and Mark to cause him to be on the side of the bed when I found him like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for a fact that I did not do that. I mean, if I wanted to stab Mark, I would have remembered every detail of it. I would remember coming up to him, confronting him, and stabbing him. But I don't know what happened to him, but I know for a fact that I didn't do all of that.
Right. I mean, I would understand if you did. I mean,
I would understand too. I mean, I didn't stab him. I didn't attack him. I didn't
How do you
confront
do the
him.
two of you didn't get in a fight, he didn't try to hurt you, and you didn't get the knife back and protect yourself?
It just didn't happen. Like
Well, you don't know that. You keep saying, I don't know.
During his interrogation, Raul would get very impatient, and he would keep saying that he wanted to shit and eat. So even though Mark and Raul had been friends since childhood, Raul was expressing no emotion whatsoever in regards to his friend's death. So partway through his interrogation, Raul decided that he was going to use Taylor's lack of memory of that night to his advantage. And he told detectives that something had actually happened between Taylor and Mark that night.
I don't know what happened between Tay and Mark,
Okay.
but I do know for a fact that I was doing my own thing, and then when I was alerted to the situation, I went to Mark.
Okay.
That's what I do know. I don't know what happened between Tay and Mark, except for the fact that she was definitely hesitating a little bit when I yelled at her to call the police or paramedics or whatever it was. So that's what I remember. I'm gonna be honest with you. Something happened between Tay and Mark, and then Mark was bleeding out, so I came to his sort of medical attention. I tried to stop the bleeding.
Raul also said that as they were heading back to the apartment that night, it was pretty clear to him that there was something going on between his girlfriend and Mark. He claimed that their body language showed it all. Detectives would go on to ask Raul some rather personal questions, like when was the last time he had sex with his girlfriend Taylor? They wanted to see what he would say about their relationship, because detectives had found out that the relationship between Raul and Taylor, particularly on a sexual level, had been anything but perfect in the last few months. So investigators began to wonder if Taylor and Raul's unhappy relationship had played a part in Mark's death. Had Raul gotten angry that night because his friend and girlfriend were flirting? Taylor had been known to be flirtatious with Raul's friends in the past. A few of his friends had actually experienced Taylor hitting on them and making them rather uncomfortable. Officers would also speak with Josh White, the other friend who had been out with the group earlier that night. He said that Taylor had been shooting him some flirty vibes at the bar, which had made him uncomfortable and unsure of what to do. But Taylor still insisted that it was Josh that was making the moves on her. So she had turned to Mark for advice. Taylor claimed that Josh had actually texted her, hitting on her, and she thought it was really weird. She claimed that she was so uncomfortable with Josh's alleged advances and tension brewing with Raul that she just wanted to go home. Even though Raul was trying to pass the blame for Mark's murder onto his girlfriend, the thing was, Mark actually had a stab wound that went about 7 inches into his body. The knife even chipped a bone as it had entered. And Taylor, only being 5 feet and 100 pounds, would have been physically incapable of delivering a stab with that kind of force. Raul Gupta was additionally said to be a different person when he began drinking. One of his ex-girlfriend's roommates had stopped allowing him into their shared home because they felt unsafe around him. Raul was known to be rather controlling towards his girlfriend Taylor as well. So even though there was no physical evidence that Raul had been the one who stabbed Mark, he was arrested and charged with first-degree murder of his friend and held on a $2 million bond. Raul would go to trial in March of 2015, and his defense put forth the theory that Taylor had been the one who killed Mark. They said it was because she had gotten angry and upset about what had happened at the bar earlier, and she had become even angrier when they had returned back to the apartment. So Mark had suggested that he and Raul leave for a little while so everyone could cool off. But while Raul was looking for his shoes, the defense said that he fell and hit his head, and when he got back up, Mark had been attacked. That is the biggest load of BS story I've ever heard. He explained that he then yelled to Taylor to call 911. But the court would also hear a phone call placed by Raul to his father while he was in jail.
I have a free call from
Waugh Gupta. Where are you? I'm in jail. What happened? Mark and I got into a fight, and he tried to get a knife, and then I grabbed the knife. Who did you get into a fight with? Mark.
Also, following his arrest, when Raul had been placed in a holding cell awaiting his turn to get interrogated, he had blurted out to a police officer who was assigned to guard him, saying, "Please, sir, look, I fucked up. He tried to stab me, though." He also said, "Guy's a real dick. He tried to kill me and my family." And he would also scream 2 or 3 times that he wanted a lawyer. With this information now in hand, the jury was not buying Raul's story, and they found him guilty of first-degree murder. He was then sentenced to life in prison. Raul would give a speech during his trial about the kind of man that Mark had been, and he apologized to the family without actually admitting any guilt, saying, "Words cannot describe how terribly sorry I am about what happened." He has tried to appeal his sentence multiple times, but at this point, he's exhausted all of his state appeals, so his life sentence stands. Detective Paula Hamill, who was on the case, said that even though Taylor was never charged with anything, she doesn't necessarily believe that she was not involved. And after the trial, Mark's father, Bill Waugh, spoke with reporters, and he said, "Mark's murder was a sin, not just on the family, but the community as a whole. So much promise, so much opportunity, so much loss." Funeral services for Mark Waugh were held at St. Catherine of Siena Catholic Church in Great Falls, Virginia, on Sunday, October 20th, 2013. Mark was then buried at Chestnut Grove Cemetery in Herndon, Virginia. It's very surprising to me that Taylor never got charged in Mark's murder, not even as an accomplice. The apartment where he had been killed was tiny. There's no way she didn't know what had happened. Also, her 911 call was so bizarre. Like she was trying to make sure she said as little as possible so she didn't accidentally incriminate herself. If it was Raul who killed Mark, it was likely out of jealousy. But what could Taylor's motive for murdering Mark possibly be? What do you think? Thank you to all the patrons of A Wicked World. Now, there's even more of A Wicked World on Patreon. So check it out at patreon.com/awickedworld or use the Patreon app. You'll have access to exclusive videos each month and more. Any support truly helps to make sure the victims never get forgotten and to highlight the shortcomings of society associated with each case. Do you have a suggestion for a case you'd like to see me cover? If so, send me an email at awickedworldtruecrime@gmail.com.